Hello, Libras. This is Genevieve with Belladonna and Moonbeams. How are y'all doing? I'm doing well, and I am excited because this is for the week of October 28th through 25th, 2020. It's the last full moon before Samhain. I mean, the last full week before Samhain. Oh, my word. And it is the veil is thinning, the weather is getting nicer. Genevieve gets to dress up for Halloween and Day of the Dead and Samhain. Oh, so much fun. So I decided to do something a little different today. Big shock, right? I'm going to pull one card from the Oracle of the Fairies, and then I'm going to pull the 3 cards from Tarot like I always do. And I'm also going to read from my crystal ball. But I'm going to tell you something. On the 29th of October, I am going to answer your yes and no questions. So if you will send me a text, 405-512-9400, and give me your first name and your yes and no questions, on that day, I am going to ask my pendulum for the answer, to answer the question. So whoever sends me that, you get your questions answered. Okay? Sounds great. Now, moving right along, the card we get is Temptation. And this card is telling me that you have something that you're tempted by that's not good for you. Now, that can be different things for different people. For example, for the most part, I'm pesca vegan. Well, there during COVID, I kind of fell off the vegan wagon and ate a lot of chicken. So I kept struggling. It was almost like an addiction because I think with all the hormones and the chemicals and things in meat that they are almost addictive. So I was really bothered by that. And I was just like, how am I going to get back on this? And then I remembered this spell I do to break addictions, especially food addictions. And I did one. And by the way, that I'll be sharing that spell with y'all in about 2 weeks. I can't remember the exact date because I'm planning things out now. Putting things on a schedule. Oh, no. And that's something else. If you want to know, send me a text and I'll send you the dates. So anyway, I did that spell and voila. I haven't had chicken since. I'm so pleased. Anyway, the first tarot card I get for you Libras is the Magician. This card says you have everything at your disposal. You have a wand here, you have infinity, you have a pentacle, a cup, a wand, and a sword. You have roses down here and up here. You have everything you need to get what you want. But you're still sad about something. You got the 10 of Swords here, and these swords are actually up here protecting you, but you're crying over them. And you're like, I don't like this. It's not what I wanted. Well, I'm sorry, honey. Sometimes what we want and what we need are 2 different things. But also because you have everything you want, maybe, or you have everything you need to have everything you want, maybe you need to be seeing why you're sad about it. Because maybe you have everything that you're wanting, but you don't realize it yet. Because those cards seem very incongruous, that you have all the skills, all the magical skills, the spiritual skills, everything, but you're still sad. And then we have the 2 of Wands. Now this card is about looking out. Let's turn it over first. Looking out and thinking about travel, but also just seeing what you have. But he's looking at what he has and he's thinking about traveling. So it could be that you want to go somewhere and you can't because of COVID. You got your passport, you got the money, but might be some rule that says you can't do it. I don't know. But I do think that you're probably crying over some spilt milk and over something that you don't need to be crying over. Maybe you're not seeing what you have and how good it is. So this week, I want you to take time and think about those things. and think about what you really do have. Okay, now we're going to look at my crystal ball and see what that says. First of all, I see a crystal, like a beautiful crystal, like almost like this one, only without the little bottoms. Just imagine the top crystal. So this tells me that you can look within inside of yourself and get what you need. You've got those answers inside of you. And if you don't, you can almost scry it. I also see a hot air balloon. And a hot air balloon, I think, is indicative of one of two things. One, somebody is blowing hot air, but I honestly think that the hot air balloon says that you're going to take off and fly. You just got to wait a little bit longer. And I also see an orb. And this tells me that Spirit's here with you and that he's got your back here. And I see a spaceship. Once again, you're going to take off and fly. And I see an arrow pointing up. Once again, you're going to take off and fly. But you just got to hang in there. And you've got to realize that you're right on the cusp of taking off and flying. So I honestly, it's not the world's worst reading. I do think that you have some sadness over something that you don't necessarily need to be sad over. Maybe regret. Yeah, that kind of resonates with me. You know, in life, we go through life and we blame ourselves for things we shouldn't be blaming ourselves for. And we regret things that we can't go back and change. So the way you solve those things is if you're sorry for having done something to someone, you apologize. Yeah, I know it's hard. But then after you apologize, you let it go, like that song. So you need to let it go and forgive yourself. Because I think self-forgiveness is actually harder than forgiving anyone. So even if it means every single morning looking in the mirror and saying, I choose to forgive myself for blah, 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 do it. And let go of what's no longer serving you. Don't give in to your temptations of holding on to the past. Namaste, y'all. If you want to do a private reading, which is not free, however, the pendulum readings are, send me a text, 405-512-9400. If not, I'll see you in a few.